to Toronto, where at Rogers Center tonight, the St. Louis Cardinals will come to town for the final Interleague Series at Rogers Center in the 2010 season. The Blue Jays continue to massage their roster. They've made a roster change. Jared Hoffbauer is called up from AAA. Gets a big hug from Albert Pujols. Hoffbauer played for the Cardinals a year ago. He will make his Toronto Blue Jays debut here tonight against St. Louis. Hello, everybody. I'm Buck Martinez along with Pat Tabler. And, Pat, this Blue Jays ball club not expected to get great starting pitching this season with Roy Halladay on the move, but they have had an exceptional start from Brett Cecil. Last time out, he was a little bit shaky, but really righted himself and had a good outing.
That's the important thing, especially with young pitchers like a Brett Cecil. He made really one mistake. This changeup, he hung over the middle of the plate, and it was hit out of the center field for a grand slam. But then he righted the ship, and he gave Bruce Walton 6 innings, which he needed. The 6th straight start that Brett Cecil was able to go that far. And when you watch what he did after that, he was a little bit sharper with his breaking ball. His changeup was a little bit better. And that's one thing that we have noticed about Brett Cecil this year is his fastball, changeup, slider all get off the hitting plane. And that's why you see great numbers with the batting average against.
He has really been tough. He is 4th in the American League with opponents' batting average, doing a great job. He'll be opposed by the Cardinals' young left-hander Jaime Garcia, and Garcia, too, is off to a great start this season.
Well, the one thing you see when you watch some of this video is he keeps the ball down. And any time a young pitcher can keep the ball down, he'll have good success. He'll keep the ball in the ballpark, which he has done, and he has really pitched long into ball games. And the other thing with him is when runners do get on base, he seems to take it up another notch. Take a look at some of these numbers.
Pretty surprising he would be so good with runners in scoring position because he is a first-year pitcher, but he has really handled the pressure very well. The Cardinals always feature a tough lineup. Albert Pujols is in the middle of their lineup, but this year, Pujols has some help in Matt Holliday, one of the most feared right-handed hitters in all of baseball. And for more on Holliday, let's check in with Sam Cosentino.
Well, Buck Holliday has been a great addition to the St. Louis Cardinals lineup. He plays a solid left field, but he puts a lot of thunder for Tony La Russa at the top of the order. In the early part of June, though, he really struggled, hitting just 167th from the 5th of June to the 16th of June. But that all turned around on the weekend in a series against the Oakland Athletics. He hit 667, 8 for 12. 4 of those hits were home runs. He drove in 8 and slugged at a 1.750 percentage. They're happy to have him atop there, and he will be back in the lineup for Tony La Russa here tonight, playing left field and batting second.
Matt Holliday has not hit well here at Rogers Center, but the Blue Jays have been on fire of late. 15-6 over the last 21. They've hit home runs. They've gotten great pitching. Cito Gaston will be hopeful that they can continue to play well here at home. This has been a great run for the Blue Jays.
your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. It's the first game of the 3-game series against the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals atop the National League Central. Tony La Russa, the active, winningest manager in baseball. La Russa has done a terrific job. Started out his managerial career with the Chicago White Sox. Went from there to Oakland. Now he is here with the St. Louis Cardinals. He and Dave Duncan, the pitching coach behind him, have been a tandem for a long time, going all the way back to the White Sox days.
First place finishes for La Russa many, many times. World Series champs just a few years ago for the St. Louis Cardinals. It's one of the best in all of baseball.
Blue Jays will be anxious to continue this hot streak we had mentioned. 15-6 over the last 21 games at home. Brett Cecil will be looking to turn things around. Last time out, had one bad inning. Gave up a grand slam to Aaron Cunningham. And other than that, he really hung in there and did a pretty good job to keep his team in the game.
Yeah, when you watch what Brett Cecil did last year, and there were flashes, just glimpses of his ability. This year, though, you watch Cecil and you watch him get into trouble, and then you watch him come out of it. And I think that's just the maturation process for a young pitcher, that they know what they have to do when they find themselves into trouble, guys on base or whatever, and they know themselves just a little bit better, and we've seen that from Brett Cecil this year.
These two ball clubs haven't met an awful lot. This is the first time the Cardinals have been back at Rogers Center since 2005. The Cardinals have a slight edge in the one-loss department. They are 4-2 over the Blue Jays in interleague play. They have out-homered the Blue Jays, but you would expect that might be a different story during this series this time around.
Well, the Cardinal pitchers don't give up a whole lot of home runs. They are second in the National League in pitching, so this will be interesting. Confrontations between their whole pitching staff and the home run sluggers that the Blue Jays throw out there. There's a big slugger themselves, Matt Holliday.
Let's check in with Sam Cosentino quickly.
Well, guys, it's Tweeting Tuesdays here. Follow Blue Jays on Twitter at twitter.com/Blue Jays. Submit your questions on Twitter to @BlueJays, and Buck Martinez or Pat Tabler could choose yours as the Twitter questions of the game. Answer Twitter trivia questions, and you could win prizes such as Tweeting Tuesday t-shirts or autographed baseballs. We'll be at it here all night long at the Rogers Center, guys.
Thanks, Sammy. Should be an interesting Tuesday. Tony La Russa in town, his 15th season with the Cardinals. Let's take a look at La Russa's lineup tonight. Cardinals at 38-31, first in the NL Central. Lopez, Holliday, and Pujols. Albert Pujols, a .522 career hitter against the Blue Jays. 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. Last time he was here in 2005, he went 5 for 12 and hit a home run. Blue Jays won 2 of 3 in that series. Ludwig, Freese, Stavanoa, Yadier Molina, another reunion of the Molina brothers, as Yadier, the youngest Molina, is in town. Randy Wynn, just picked up by the Cardinals after the Yankees let him go, is in center. And Brendan Ryan is the shortstop. They will take on young Brett Cecil.
12th start of the year for Brett Cecil. Had his personal 5-game winning streak snapped in his last start. He gave up 5 runs in 6 innings. That was that 8-2 loss to the San Diego Padres. Still very impressive numbers for Cecil. 7-3, a .358 earned run average. This will be his first time facing these big hitters from the St. Louis Cardinals in his career. Scatter report for Brett Cecil. We will watch what he does with the fastball. If it's in and out and on the corners, I think he'll be successful. His secondary stuff, that's not a football reference. That's good secondary pitches. The slider, the curve, and the changeup. And put them away after he gets 0-1 or strike 1 on a batter. Hitters are hitting just 178 against Brett Cecil, so he has really matured in that part of his game also.
Surely understands what he needs to do to win a game. Felipe Lopez, the former Jay, will take a first pitch outside. Lopez played with Toronto 2001, 2002. Signed in the offseason to a Cardinal contract, and now he's playing an awful lot middle infield, either short or second base.
Came up as a shortstop with the Blue Jays, and you had him at third base for a little bit.
Played very well at third base for a while. 2 balls and no strikes. Lopez fouls it off. Felipe is a switch hitter. There are his numbers in 134 games. First brought him to the big leagues in 2001. Former draft pick of the Jays. Changeup in there to even the count at 2-2. Driven into center field. Vernon Wells catches up to it and makes the grab. 1 up, 1 down here in the first.
Toronto comes into this game third in the American League in fielding percentage. That's something that we saw in that last series was outstanding. Play after play by everyone. Defensively tonight, Lewis, Wells, and Bautista in the outfield. The infield, our first look at Jared Hoffpauir at third base. Cecil and John Buck behind the plate tonight. Jared Hoffpauir, his first game this year. He has had 6 major league games, 5 of them at second base. Came up as a second baseman. This is just his second major league start at third base.
Off to a great start in AAA at .328 with 9 home runs and had a big RBI season going in AAA. Matt Holliday chases that changeup, evens the count at 1-1. Holliday hitting in the 2 spot, something that you don't see an awful lot of, a big power hitter, but Tony La Russa has done this throughout his career. He likes having a threat in that 2 spot in the lineup. Line drive, base hit. Holliday stays on fire. A 1-out base hit surrendered by Brett Cecil. Albert Pujols will step in. A .332 career hitter, hitting over 300 this season with 15 home runs and 50 driven in.
You suck, Pujols!
That's ball up and in.
Now, how can people say that he is having an off year when he's driven in 50 runs in the 68 games that he has played? 15 home runs, great production.
There's a fastball for a strike. Well, he set a high standard for himself. He's a batting champ. He's won the MVP 3 times. He's a Gold Glover. Left-handers give him trouble. Interesting that he would be such an accomplished hitter and still hit just .238 against lefties. That swing right there probably reflects what his problems are if batting against left-handers.
Like he came out of his swing a little bit. That front side opened up a little bit too fast. Was back on his back leg. When you watch Albert Pujols, it's a very interesting stance with very little movement from his lower half. You don't see that normal stride with that left leg. Everything is done under control with Pujols.
A ball in 2 strikes on Albert Pujols. Ripped down the left field line. He is very short and quick to the ball and even gets shorter with 2 strikes. You can see him constantly talking to himself about his stroke.
Using that left arm, simulating going through the baseball. The thing that is so impressive about him is his ability to hit the ball out anywhere in the ballpark. You think he might have a good pitch on him, and he takes it yard.
Chased a high fastball. Brett Cecil strikes him out. Brett Cecil elevated the fastball and got Pujols to chase.
Albert Pujols doesn't strike out a lot. You have to get him to chase some pitches, and that's one thing that I heard about him this year, that he's a little bit not as patient as we have seen him in the past, maybe going out of the strike zone to try and drive in more runs.
38th strikeout, and this is 69th game. 2 outs now. Holliday at first. Ryan Ludwig, the cleanup batter. Changeup got away from Cecil. You can see the majority of the heavy lifting comes from Holliday, Pujols, and Ludwig. This is where they rely on their offense. These 3 guys provide most of the punch. One hopper to Hoffpauir, tested early in the game, and he comes through. Jared Hoffpauir, his first inning at third base for the Blue Jays, ends the inning with a fine defensive play. A backhanded play and goes to second for the out. Brett Cecil gets Wells, Gonzalez, Bautista, Overbay hit seventh, and John Buck over his last 9 games has been swinging a hot bat. Had a good road trip and finished up strong in San Diego coming off the last road trip. 3 home runs, 8 RBIs over his last 9 games, and Jared Hoffbauer making his Blue Jays debut here tonight at third base.
Jaime Garcia takes the mound. Impressive young left-hander takes the ball for the Cardinals. 6-3 with a 159 earned run average. Suffered his first defeat in 7 starts Wednesday. Didn't pitch poorly. 2 runs, 7 strikeouts, but lost to Seattle, and the offense couldn't score but 1 run for him. This also is his first appearance versus the Blue Jays.
Garcia's first pitch to Fred Lewis is up and away for a ball. Fred Lewis batting .286 at the start of play tonight. He's got 4 long balls and driven in 19. There's a strike to even the count. Jaime Garcia, rookie left-hander, has pitched very well on the road. 4-2 with a 1.74 ERA. Fastball bounced up the middle. That gets through for a base hit. Fred Lewis starts thing off with a base hit to center.
Blue Jays are taking the first look at Jaime Garcia. This is our first look at him, so let's take a look at the scouting report on the young left-hander. He's got natural cutting action on his fastballs. Very lively, low 90s. Curveball anytime. He'll throw it. Good biting action. He'll use it for strikeouts. He's also got the cutter slider. Added it last year, and he really sets up hitters with that cutter/slider that he has.
23 years old, Jaime Garcia will face Aaron Hill with Lewis at first. Fastball outside for a strike. Hill had a home run in the series against the Giants. A 2-run home run came off of Matt Cain in the 8th inning. First runs of the ball game. Garcia does a great job of controlling the running game. Only 3 attempts against him all season long, and 2 have been caught. No balls and a strike to the Blue Jays second baseman. Bounced foul.
He's a very interesting guy. He had Tommy John surgery. Now, the Blue Jay pitchers can relate to what Jaime Garcia went through. Tommy John surgery in 2008. Spent most of 2009 rehabbing from that. Went to spring training, and the thought was that they were going to use him out of the bullpen. But he was their best pitcher in spring training, and Tony La Russa and Dave Duncan said, hey, this guy has got to make the team as a starter, and he's been sensational.
0-2 to Hill. Up and away for a ball. Well, that's one thing La Russa and Duncan have developed over the years is a sense of trust, and they really recognize what they're looking at. Garcia throughout the spring impressed them to the point where they talked to one another and said, listen, we got to use this guy in the rotation.
Something that they haven't had for a while is a left-hander who can win in ball games. Last time a lefty other than Garcia won a game was 4 years ago.
Fred Lewis got picked off. One extra bounce towards second proved costly, and Garcia's got a good move. He held the ball and then saw the break and went to first base to Pujols, and Lewis is erased.
You know what else he did is he left that leg up a little bit longer also to get a good view of Lewis. There is the hop. Pujols applies the tag on the shoulder for the first out. Hey, anytime you can help yourself. Field your position, pick a guy off, whatever it takes.
1-2. Down and in. 2-2 to Hill. Well, you had mentioned the stretch of games when Garcia beat Milwaukee back on the 10th of April. It had been 586 games between wins by a left-handed starter. They just haven't been able to come up with a left-handed starter that could pitch for them consistently in a rotation. Off-speed pitch bounced foul.
The last guy to win a game for him back in 2006,
Mark Mulder. And then, of course, Mulder dealt with injuries after that. His career was cut short dramatically. Tony La Russa, you mentioned his 15th season with the Cardinals. Hill stays alive. Tony La Russa is the active win leader for managers. He is ahead of Bobby Cox, Joe Torre, and Lou Piniella. Hard to imagine he's been with the Cardinals 15
Yeah,
seasons.
you said 15 years, and I was like, wow, has it been that quickly? 7 times he has guided the Cardinals into the playoffs.
Off-speed pitch, and Hill goes down swinging. First strikeout of the night for Jaime Garcia.
He won't blow the ball by you. He'll mix his speeds. Location is so important. If you keep the ball down like he does, keeps the ball in the ballpark, and you're not going to get hurt too badly.
Adam Lind steps in to face Garcia. Behind him. Breaking ball slipped out of his hand. Lind's a DH again tonight. He went through a stretch on the West Coast swing where he played every day in left field. Two balls and no strikes. Broken bat, little looping liner caught by Felipe Lopez at second base. Quick inning for Jaime Garcia. Gives up a single and picks off Fred Lewis. We're scoreless after 1.
In St. Louis and Toronto, a couple of roster notes for you. First of all, Scott Richmond in a rehab start with Dunedin tonight went 4 innings, allowing 1 hit while striking out 3. He has been put back on the 40-man roster as a result of Edwin Encarnacion being designated for assignment. The Blue Jays will know tomorrow if he is claimed or not. If he is not claimed, he's expected to report to AAA Las Vegas and play every day at third base. One more roster note for you. Dustin McGowan, it was found out today by Dr. James Andrews, a significant tear in the rotator cuff of his right shoulder. He will that has now been repaired, and they expect to have him back throwing between 4 to 6 months, so that long road to recovery continues for McGowan.
Thanks, Sam. And that's, I guess, good news in that they found something that was causing the problems for Dustin McGowan.
And they were able to repair it. If that guy would ever stay healthy, he's got an electric arm.
David Freese, the third baseman, cuts on a fastball away. It's a ball and 2 strikes. Freese leading off the second against Brett Cecil. Down and in, 2-2. Way outside. Full count. Brett Cecil, last time out on Tuesday in San Diego, was matched up against Matt Latos. And Latos was tough. 7, 6 1/3, a 4-hit ball. Cecil had the one rough inning. He gave up a grand slam home run to Aaron Cunningham, his first hit for Cunningham in a Padre uniform turned out to be the grand slam against Brett Cecil. Off-speed pitch struck him out. That changeup is valuable for Brett Cecil.
Well, you can throw it any time, any count. It's first chance that the Cardinals have a look at Brett Cecil, so they don't know any type of patterns or anything like that. You can see the grip in his glove. Changeup fades down and away. I was asking Bruce Walton today about that game that Cecil had in San Diego, and we all know that he went out there and talked to him. One of the things he said is, hey, I need 6 innings from you. But another thing that he wanted to do when he went out there, it's the first time that he has challenged a pitcher out on the mound. Just, hey, let me see what you have. And he wanted to see how Brett Cecil was going to react to that, if he was going to get tough and give him the 6 or 7 innings that he needed. And he did.
Yeah, this is certainly a building process for this entire pitching staff, and Cecil has responded very favorably. He's out in front of the DH, Nick Stavanoa here, as Stavanoa is 0-2. And fastball fouled back. Lots of 300 averages in this lineup, as this Cardinal team has done a pretty good job of swinging the bats, but they're looking for a little more consistent run production. They've not scored runs the way they would like. 0-2.
You would think with all the home run hitters that they have in their lineup, especially in the middle of the lineup, that they would be able to score more runs. Consistency has been a problem with the Cardinals so far this year. The ability to maintain what they can do offensively.
Stavanoa just fouled off that changeup to stay alive.
Mark McGwire, the new hitting coach for the St. Louis Cardinals. I'm sure there's a adjustment period with new batting coaches. Hal McRae was their hitting coach last year. McGwire, this is his first year.
Pop straight back on the fastball. It was a transition from McGwire. He'd been out of baseball, obviously. Tony La Russa had really been after McGwire to come back. He wanted his presence on the bench, wanted his intellectual knowledge of hitting to help this team. And he finally came back, and he said it has been a process learning how to coach. Sharply hit on the ground deep at shortstop. Gonzalez with a strong arm in time to get Stavanoa.
Well, this isn't the first time that the Cardinals have seen Mark McGwire. He would come to spring training as an invitation type of ex-coach to come there and work with some of these hitters, and just a presence. And Tony La Russa was very impressed with what he saw and the knowledge that McGwire had as a hitter, and really lobbied for him to get him on his staff, knowing that there was going to be a firestorm when he hired him this winter.
Long drive left field. Yadier Molina sends Lewis to the warning track, and this ball is out of here. A first pitch home run for Yadier Molina. His 3rd home run of the season has put the Cardinals out in front 1-0.
Brett Cecil doesn't give up a lot of home runs. This is just the 7th home run that he has given up. But Molina not wasting any time. The first pitch that he sees, and it looked like a fastball right in his wheelhouse. He wanted that ball away just a little bit more, and it was about belt high. Really no chance for the ballpark to hold it.
A 2-out home run for the Cardinal catcher, Yadier Molina. Now Randy Wynn, the switch hitter, batting right-handed against Brett Cecil. Wynn started out the season with the Yankees. You see his combined numbers this season. Right field, Jose Bautista into the alley in right center, makes the catch, and the Cardinals retire. But Brett Cecil gives up a 2-out home run, a solo shot to Yadier Molina, and the Cardinals lead it 1-0. Vote for your favorite Blue Jays players: Vernon Wells, Jose Bautista, and Alex Gonzalez. Cast your vote at BlueJays.com. Fans are allowed to vote a maximum of 25 times per email address. Vote early, vote often. Send your Blue Jays to the All-Star Game. Bottom of the second inning, Vernon Wells will lead things off against Jaime Garcia. Cardinals out in front 1-0 on Yadier Molina's third home run of the season. Fastball inside to Wells. Getting his first look at Jaime Garcia. Anxious to see just exactly what he's up against.
Well, it's not really overpowering stuff as you watch him operate. You watch film of him also. He'll change speeds. He'll cut the ball in. And that has been a big pitch for him, that cut slider that he's picked up.
Pulled on a hole, deep in the hole. Brendan Ryan's got a quick release. Not in time. Brendan Ryan really unloaded that ball in a hurry. They had Wells played perfectly deep in the hole at shortstop, but he didn't have enough to get on Brendan Wells.
Cardinals know that Wells will pull a lot of outside pitches. Look where he catches the ball, gets a lot on this throw. Pujols right at the end tried to steal it and pull that leg. Watch him pull it just before he catches the ball. Trying to sell that to the umpire. Brendan Ryan makes a fine play, but Wells is too quick.
Leadoff base hit for the Blue Jays here. Ryan has terrific range and a very strong throwing arm. Alex Gonzalez now backs out as Garcia stepped off the rubber. Swinging at the first pitch, Gonzalez fouls it off. Brendan Ryan before the game was talking about how much he admires Alex Gonzalez. When the Cardinals picked up Brad Penny, Penny was so complimentary for Gonzalez's play. They both played together, Penny and Gonzalez, with the Florida Marlins during the World Series run in 2003.
Pretty good guy to emulate, isn't it? We have had a chance to watch Gonzalez day in and day out, and Ryan is a very good fielding shortstop. Although he has 10 errors this year, he has a lot of range. He gets to a lot of balls and plays a very good shortstop. That's one thing that Tony La Russa has always had on his teams, a good fielding shortstop.
Popped up left field. Matt Holliday over near the line drifts with the ball now, and Gonzalez is retired. Wells had tagged up, but bluffs the break to second, has to retreat. Well, it is Twitter Tuesdays, and the fan question for Pat at Stevie C asked Pat Tabler, hey Pat, did you ever play in an All-Star game? If so, what was it like?
Well, the first part of that question, yes, I did. I was not voted, and I was chosen to play in 1987 when it was out in Oakland as a member of the Cleveland Indians. So I played. I made it. What was it like? Well, first of all, I said, well, why am I here? There's no way I belong on the field with all these great stars. And I also thought that I was going to win the game.
Jose Bautista takes the ball down and in.
I was going to pinch hit. And that was Mark McGwire's rookie year. He was on the team, and he was playing first base. And I thought they were going to put me in for him. And I'm like, there is no way you're putting me in for Mark McGwire. They would shoot me on this field, drag me off.
2 balls and no strikes to Bautista.
Big Mark McGwire, what a rookie year he had. 49 home runs his rookie year back in 1987. The place went wild when he came into the ball game. He wasn't the starter, but he came in and played most of the game. We ended up losing that game. Tim Raines hit a ball in the gap. I believe he was still with Montreal then and won the game for him.
Jaime Garcia falls behind Jose Bautista. 3 balls and no strikes. Vernon Wells is at first. He had the infield single. Green light swinging, long drive left field. Holliday at the wall, and he'll watch it sail away home run. Bautista, his 19th home run of the season. A 3-0 green light from Cito Gaston, and Bautista knocks it out of the ballpark.
And you have to. This is the one thing that we were really anxious to see. Jaime Garcia had only given up 2 home runs all season long against the big power from the Blue Jays. The leg kick from Bautista, and he's got plenty of distance. Height and distance to left field. His last home run was against A.J. Burnett when the Yankees were in town back on June the 6th. So it's been a while.
Well, this is a big matchup of a team that hits home runs against a pitching staff that doesn't give up many. So far, the Blue Jays are out in front in that contest. Bautista with his 19th. It's been a long drought for Bautista.
And you got to believe that he knows that, too. He was trying everything. He was telling me the other day that he's been in the cage working on things, coming out early, just trying to get his timing down. Nothing wrong with that 3-0 swing.
And Cito Gaston gave him the green light, figuring he might get an opportunity to get a good pitch from Garcia, and maybe that'll get Bautista going. And sure enough, he hits the 2-run home run. Overbay on the ground. Felipe Lopez deep at second base makes the play. 2 down here in the second.
You mentioned how effective that Garcia has been on the road. His earned run average is under 2. It's a guy who's also surrendered 2 runs or fewer in each of his 13 starts this year. Think about that. For a rookie pitcher, he did get in a little time last year, but 13 starts this year. He hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs in any one of his starts. Blue Jays have touched him up for 2 already in 2.
John Buck, the catcher, having a pretty good homestand. 3 for 7 so far this homestand. Average up to 271. Looked like Buck on his swing back caught Molina on the shin guard. Change up in there. A ball on the strike. Fly ball center field. Randy Wynn cruises over a bit to the right field side of center and makes the catch on the warning track. Buck is retired, but the Blue Jays break through. Jose Bautista, his 19th home run, a 3-0 green light from Cito Gaston. The Blue Jays lead. Blue Jays baseball partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays baseball. Fred Cecil out in front, 2-1. Couple of home runs in the ball game. A solo shot by Yadier Molina and a 2-run home run by Jose Bautista. And the shortstop Brendan Ryan will lead things off in the third. First pitch strike from Cecil. Good changeup down and away, 0-2.
So good to see when his team hits a home run to put them ahead, to come right out and be very aggressive. Remember that stat with Cecil, 0-1, and he puts them away. Batters hitting under 200 when he gets ahead.
Little comebacker. Cecil gloves it and throws to first for the out. Quick out here in the third. The one thing I think I've been impressed with the first part of this season from the young starters is their composure. They don't get rattled. They have a chance to make a good defensive play. They take their time, right themselves, make a good pitch. We've seen Ricky Romero, Markham, Brandon Morrow all make dramatic strides in controlling their emotions during the course of a season, course of a game.
And that's exactly what Bruce Walton was talking about, too, today with his young pitchers, Jesse Litch included, that when you get out there and you find yourself into trouble, make a pitch. Be aggressive, and be aggressive in the strike zone. The last thing I want to see is you start walking guys, and then the big hit, and before you know it, you've got 3, 4, 5 runs on the board. I've seen it all year, and I know you've seen it, that you'll see 1, maybe 2 runs, but you don't see those big innings.
Felipe Lopez hits it to Gonzalez at short. 2 up, 2 down.
Reliability, resale value, and race-proven innovation. Get it all plus 0.9% financing and a $500 gas card on new Civics during the Honda Checkered Flag event.
2 outs here in the third inning. Matt Holliday had a single to right in his first at-bat. Takes the first pitch in there for a strike.
Picking up where he left off, National League Player of the Week last week for those big numbers that he put up. He had a great series against the Oakland A's at home before they got here. But talking to some of the St. Louis people, they were saying that his swing really started coming around the series before that. That was against the Seattle Mariners, which was also at home.
Well, it's interesting. He's hitting in the number 2 spot in the lineup, and over the 6 games prior to tonight's game, he hit .435 with 4 homers and 8 RBI.
Little league numbers.
Long drive left field. This ball is hit a ton, and Matt Holliday has just gone deep. Continues to swing a hot bat in the 2 spot in the lineup. His 11th home run of the season. We are tied at 2-all.
There is a reason why Tony La Russa likes to have power in that number 2 spot. And you can see why. One of them. Not a bad pitch. Down and away, but watch Holliday go down and get it. Watch his legs. High leg kick, and he goes down, gets it, and rips it to left field. Turns on it. And we are tied.
A 2-out home run, 2 solo home runs for the Cardinals. Molina and now Matt Holliday. His 11th of the season. 2 balls and no strikes to Albert Pujols, and it has to help Matt Holliday that pitchers face him and look on deck and see Albert Pujols. Changeup, cut on and missed.
They were trying to ignite Matt Holliday, putting him all around the lineup. Where does he best fit? Well, number 2 right in front of this guy.
Popped up right side, drifting into foul territory. Overbay over near the wall. He's got room and makes the catch. Pujols is retired. But the Cardinals tie it up. They hit a solo home run to left field Matt Holliday. Jared Hoffbauer would lead things off when the Blue Jays bat. Season for the Blue Jays. He played in 8 games and had 12 at-bats last year for the Cardinals. The Blue Jays claimed him on waivers in the offseason. This year in AAA, he was off to a great start with 9 homers and 43 RBI.
Pretty good numbers, 328 average at Las Vegas. Played second base for the St. Louis Cardinals. Spent most of last year in AAA for him.
Swings in the first pitch and pops it into foul ground. Pujols is over and makes the catch. 1 out here in the 3rd. Now Jared Hoffbauer gets a chance to play a little bit at third base here, and you got to believe he's going to get an extended opportunity taking over at third.
Well, he has deserved it. He went down to AAA. He was in spring training with the Blue Jays and just got a few at bats, but did enough to impress them. Went down to AAA, put up some pretty good numbers, and when Edwin Encarnacion got off to a rocky start, they needed somebody to help produce.
Fred Lewis singled in his first at bat. He was picked off by Jaime Garcia. Two balls and no strikes. Laid off the high fastball. 3-0.
Right, he did it one time already. He gave the 3-0 green light to one hitter.
Took a little off and got the inside corner. You wouldn't think you'd give it to Fred Lewis with Aaron Hill standing on deck. Against the left-hander, Garcia Hill's certainly a home run threat. Fouled at the plate, 3-2.
Lefty's hitting just $175 against Garcia coming into this game, and he hasn't given up a home run to a lefty. So you're right. Work the count, make him throw some pitches, get on base for some of the thumpers behind you.
Garcia comes all the way back from 3-0 and strikes out Fred Lewis.
Keep the ball low, you're not going to get hurt. This one right at the knees. And Lewis swings over the top of a second strikeout tonight by Garcia.
Another strikeout victim was Aaron Hill. He'll bat with 2 outs here in the 3rd. Curveball misses away. A ball and a strike to Aaron Hill. Hill in June has hit .224. A couple of home runs.
You know, it's
fly ball down the right field line. This ball is drifting into foul territory, and it's out of play.
You know, it's been impressive about Aaron Hill, even though he has hit just .224, like you say, in the month of June. He hasn't let that affect him defensively. He has gone out every day and played great defense. Heads up, throw to the right base, make plays around the bag, turn tough double plays.
Ball and 2 strikes, down and away, 2-2. Great relay throw he made against Aubrey Huff and the Giants to nail Huff at the plate. Reflective of that. And to a man, the guys that have struggled most of the season with the bats have not carried their woes to the field. Sharply hit. Brendan Ryan is there at shortstop. Jaime Garcia bounces back with a 1-2-3 third inning. We are tied at 2-2. Home runs have been all the scoring so far tonight. World Series championship banners, 92 and 93, back-to-back World Series championships. And, of course, a big part of that was Joe Carter, the outfielder who did so well and hit that dramatic home run against Mitch Williams. And, Joe, it's great to have you here. It's good to see you. And how are things with you?
Buck, things could not be better. I mean, it's always how I'm always grateful to be back in Toronto, a place that I love. Had great times here. And every time I come back, you know, people are so excited about seeing me, and I'm excited about seeing them. But coming back this time is a special occasion because of my golf tournament. So I'm happy about it. It's a lot of fun.
Tell us about your golf tournament and what charity you're working with.
Well, we're having my first annual golf tournament out at the Eagles Nest tomorrow about 10:30, and it's for the Children's Aid Foundation, which is everyone knows a great organization here in Toronto. They do a lot of things with abused children, and giving them the opportunity to be successful in life and let them realize that, hey, everybody has problems, but they're able to help them to become better people, better persons, you know, and despite the abuse that they've been through. And so, you know, if they can teach, you know, the kids to be better people, then their kids will end up being better people. So it's just something that they've been doing. I'm happy to be affiliated with them, and got a great lineup and having some fun.
I'm assuming that the golf tournament is sold out, but if it isn't.
It is.
Okay. Can people still donate to the charity? Is there a way to get a hold of you with that?
You know what? There's some information on the website. It's www.joecarterandfriendsgolf.com, and this is going to be a regular event. This is something that we've talked about with James Dobbs at TD Bank, and we're going to continue doing it from here on out because I want to do it for the next, 30, 40 years. Plus, it gives me a good excuse to play golf.
Well, if you and James decide next year to put it on an off day, because Pat and I want to play in the golf tournament.
We'll make sure. We'll check the schedules and do it on an off day, but, yeah, so we can get you. But I don't know. You're too good a golfer, Buck. I've seen you play.
Tell us about some of the celebrities you have coming in to help you out.
Well, they're kind of right next door. We got, what's this guy, Charles Barkley? You know, he's here. Kenny Lofton, Ray Bort, Gordie Howes over there, Mr. Hockey himself. Jonathan Ogden. He's only a small guy, about
Jonathan
6'9", and he's over there. Let's see, Kenny Lofton, Barry Larkin, Ray Bork. We had Paul Henderson Westland come, but now he's going through the cancer treatments and everything, so he was unable to make it. Tricia Strauss. I mean, the list goes on, and next year I promise you it'll get better and better.
There's Sir Charles, Charles is in town. Certainly done with his basketball commitments now, so he can play a little golf. Are you working with him on his golf swing?
You know what? If Hank couldn't do it, I surely cannot do it.
Are you playing handicaps tomorrow?
No, but I tell you what, Chuck said that, he said, look, he said he's the worst golfer in all 50 states, and so I was the only guy to be able to get him to come to Toronto, so now he can be the worst golfer internationally. So, and there's a swing.
No, that's not his swing.
That is a swing.
That's exactly how he swings it.
But I tell you what, you couldn't ask for a better guy, a humanitarian, philanthropist. He donates a lot of his time, a lot of his money. Here's a guy that, he said, no, I'll fly myself up. I'll be there, whatever you want, Joe. Hey, just count me in. I just asked him one time. He said, I'll be here. And you tip your hat to a guy like that.
That's awesome that you would get that kind of support, and not surprising by any means. David Freese strikes out. There are 2 outs in the inning.
You've had a chance, Joe, to watch the Blue Jays this year. What do you think? You saw them when you were up here, right?
Yeah, exactly. I know. Talking to Cito, he's kind of become the Earl Weaver of old. He said, "Hey, 2 guys on, look for a 3-run home run, the best hit in baseball, right?" But I'm really surprised at how well they're doing. Anytime you get rid of a guy like Doc Holliday, you lose your best pitcher, and the best pitcher really in all of baseball, and you're still able to compete. It shows what the farm system has done, and that they're up and coming and building. But this Eastern Division, man, it is tough. You got 4 teams above 500, and it makes it very tough. But I'm proud of the Blue Jays hanging in there. And you know what? You never know what can happen come September.
That's for sure. If they stay in the hunt and get a hot streak, they can be right amongst the leaders in this division.
And it helps because, you're playing each team in your division, 19 times? Yeah. So that really helps. Before, back in the old days when myself and you and Pat played, we had played each other, about maybe, home and away series, and that was it. So now you have a chance to make up more ground by playing the opponents 19 times in your own division.
A ball and 2 strikes to Nick Stavahoa, who rips it into left field. Fred Lewis gets over and gets it back in quickly to hold Stavahoa to a long single.
Joe, the flip side of that is you get to play 54 games against the Yankees, Red Sox, and Rays. I don't know what advantage that is, for anybody.
It just depends the way you look at it. Is the glass half full or is it half empty? And the thing is, that is the bad thing, because you're playing 3 of the best teams in all of baseball, and you got to play them 54 times. So pick your poison.
We're a half game worse, I guess, than the St. Louis Cardinals, and they're in first place. We're in 4th.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, what's wrong with this picture?
Well, I mean, that's the Central Division, and then you talk about the Eastern Division, but it's all about the big payroll the Yankees and the Red Sox have. And how about the job that the Rays have done? A lot of young talent there. They've got an awfully good team.
Ground ball to first base off the bat of Yadi Molina, and the Cardinals will go down here in the 4th. And Joe Carter, it's always a pleasure to see you. Good luck with your golf tournament, and we'll look for our invites for next year.
All right, Buck. Thank you. All right, Tabby.
Don't look in the
Here at the Rogers Center, we now have for you our Twitter trivia question of the game. Answer correctly, and you could win an autographed baseball. Which Blue Jays player recorded the last out in the 1992 World Series? That's our Tweeting Tuesdays Twitter trivia question of the game, guys.
Thanks, Sammy. Obviously a good link to Joe Carter right there. Carter, our guest here, and back-to-back World Series championships, 92 and 93. Adam Lynn faces Jaime Garcia, takes the first pitch for a strike. Garcia and Brett Cecil are tied here 2-all. All the runs scoring on home runs tonight. Breaking ball lifted down the left side and out of play.
That was good to see Brett Cecil come out there and be very aggressive last half inning. Struck out Ludwig and Freeze, gave up the hit, but then was very aggressive in the strike zone.
Well, I think what Bruce Walton has said to his pitchers is, listen, you just control the time you have on the mound and control the situation. What's behind you is behind you. You don't have a chance to go back and make it up. Just go forward. You're part of the team. You've got a job to do, and your job as a starter is to pitch deep into the ball game.
That's what was so interesting about that mound visit in San Diego, because he is so positive, Bruce Walton. He challenged him, and he says, hey, what are you doing? I need 6 innings out of you tonight, Brett Cecil. And really, when you get down to it,
hammered to center field, and Randy Wynn is there. He will be able to make the catch. 1 out here in the 4th.
When you get down to it, that type of attitude is really a negative kind of connotation, feeling when you're out there. Bruce Walton is so positive and always accentuating the positive. But he wanted to see his reaction, and his reaction was positive as he became very aggressive in the zone.
I think Bruce understands what he's trying to do here is build a championship caliber pitching staff. And you have to find out what kind of quote-unquote men you have, whether they'll be able to get through the tough times. And I think that's the true art of coaching, is understanding who you're dealing with and when they're vulnerable and when they can handle something. And he has a terrific knack of doing that. When you really see a pitcher struggling, he might need a hug and not a kick in the butt. Let's check in with Sam Cosentino.
Well, Buck, and going along with the theme that you're talking about in building a championship pitching rotation, I think one thing that some of the pitchers I've talked to have said that we're now finding out that we can go out there without our best stuff and still compete. And I think you have to have that in order to move forward. We've seen that from Cecil. We've seen a little bit from Markham. Ricky Romero, same thing. And so those guys being able to pitch without their best stuff and still being successful is a big key to that.
A ball and 2 strikes to Vernon Wells. This is truly a learning process, and it's learning for Bruce Walton as well as for the pitchers to really find out what he has and how they can take this thing forward. Wells rips it into center field, and that'll get down in front of Randy Wynn. Vernon Wells has his 2nd hit of the night.
Wynn was thinking about coming in and making a shoestring catch, but not playing on the surface this year. The new surface here at Rogers Center thought better of it and backed off and gave Wells a single as opposed to a 3-bagger.
Well, Randy Wynn knows this ballpark, having played with Seattle and Tampa Bay and the Yankees, but he doesn't know this surface real well, so he was going to be cautious in this tie ball game. 1 out now for Alex Gonzalez. Up and away. Fly ball went to left field back in the 2nd inning. Two balls and no strikes. Jaime Garcia is very interesting in his background. He grew up in Reynosa, Mexico, came to Texas, Mission, Texas, and went to high school as a junior. But because he moved out of Mexico, he only had 1 year of eligibility. And he was drafted after his junior year by the Orioles in the 30th round. Garcia goes to first. And then what happened was he only had 1 year of eligibility, so he was not eligible to play baseball in his senior season. But he was subject to the draft, so he had to go back and graduate. And then he actually had to petition Major League Baseball to be draft eligible after his senior year. Changeup for his strike.
By coming to Texas, he had to have 4 years of high school.
Right. He had to then graduate. And there was some doubts as to whether he would be eligible to be drafted a second time. So they had to petition Major League Baseball to re-enter the draft. And he was drafted by the Orioles in the first draft in 2004. Popped back and out of play. And the scout that drafted him, Joe Alvarez, with the Orioles, after the 2004 draft, moved to the Cardinals. And then he had his eye on Garcia and said, you know what, I've got this guy down in Texas that I think can be a pretty good pitcher. But they drafted him in the 22nd spot, signed him, and at the time he hadn't pitched in almost a year. He was out of shape, overweight. They really put him back to good hard work, and he has turned into a pretty good first-year pitcher here.
And had to deal with an injury a couple of years ago.
Tommy John surgery.
So you might not have heard of him, but he is a fine, fine pitcher.
Another example of how valuable scouting can be.
Yeah, you can find him anywhere. We saw that with Jonathan Sanchez, who's made it to the big leagues. He was a 27th round draft pick of the Giants a few years ago. They found him in Ohio Dominican College. Not one of your big schools that produce, you know, like the Stanfords and the USCs, Arizona States, and so on and so on.
Yeah, and you just have to have people out in the field watching baseball games. You never know what you're going to find. We are in the bottom of the fourth, one out here. Vernon Wells is at first base. Gonzalez fouls it off.
Vernon Wells still fooled by that move by Jaime Garcia over at first. He is really leaning back towards the bag whenever he lifts his legs, not wanting to get picked off. Pitchers with good moves like that can really shut down the running game, even if you just want to try and get yourself into scoring position and play hit and run.
Inside, looked like Molina might have gotten crossed up there and boxed up that inside pitch. Fortunately, it stayed at his feet, and Wells could not advance.
Yadier Molina and boxing a pitch usually don't go in the same sentence because he is a Gold Glove caliber type of catcher, probably the best defensive catcher in the National League.
Maybe all of baseball. Full count. Wells not going. Ground ball, third base. Freeze to second for one. Lopez back to first. In time, double play. A very quick double play. Freeze with the good feed to the second baseman, Felipe Lopez. Gonzalez hits into a 5-4-3 double play. Lopez, a terrific pivot at second base and a strong arm.
The Jays on Rogers Sportsnet. Brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
We are tied at 2 here at Rogers Center as the Cardinals are set to bat in the 5th inning. It'll be 7, 8, and 9 for St. Louis. Randy Wynn, the center fielder, takes the first pitch up and away. Wynn was picked up after the Yankees set him free. Rips it down the left field line. That's a fair ball. It'll go all the way to the wall. Randy Wynn around first, headed for second. Lewis digs it out and hits it back to the infield. The leadoff double for Randy Wynn here in the 5th. Randy Wynn, a switch hitter, gets a fastball down and in and rips it right over the head of Hoffbauer all the way down the left field corner. For Wynn, his 3rd double of the season, a leadoff double here in the 5th. Blue Jays expecting a bunt. They're in at the corners. Ryan squares around, pops it into the air as he pulled his hands back from that inside fastball.
And Brett Cecil did the right thing. Whenever he sees a guy square around like that, you throw a fastball in and preferably up because it's so hard to get the ball down on the ground. Jose Oquendo now down to talk to Brendan Ryan, probably telling him, hey, the bunt's not on. Try and hit the ball the other way. Get that runner over.
Oquendo, a very good third base coach and a potential manager in my mind. He really understands the game and has done a great job here in St. Louis. No balls and a strike to Brendan Ryan, the shortstop. He squares again, pulls the bat back, takes the ball.
First thing you want to do as a batter, if you are sacrificing, you have to get a strike. You must get a strike so you can get the ball down. He's going to try and make Hoffbauer, the third baseman, field this bunt. Make him come in, and that'll allow Wynn to get the third base.
Popped it in the air. Overbay is there and makes the grab, and Ryan has popped up. Good job by Overbay. He was crashing hard. They were certain Ryan was going to bunt, so he could really charge.
And he was playing in. You read the head of the bat, which he did. Ryan lets the barrel of that bat get below his hands. That's why that ball gets up in the air. Overbay has played a great first base this year. Makes a good play there to keep Wynn right at second base.
Big out now. It'll be Felipe Lopez, the leadoff batter. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike.
Those little things like that could really help you as a pitcher. When you have a runner at second base and you know that the number 9 hitter is going to try and get it down on the ground, you throw a high fastball right at the top of the strike zone and maybe you can pop it up, which he did.
In the dirt. Wynn has to hold his ground. John Buck did a good job of knocking that ball down and keeping it right at home plate. Randy Wynn with the leadoff double. Brendan Ryan popped up. This is another example of why Tony La Russa likes Matt Holliday in the 2 spot. He's lurking on deck with 1 out.
Yeah, he doesn't like those punch and Judy hitters. He likes RBI men.
Left side, Gonzalez slides, gets up, throws a strike to Overbay to retire Lopez. Boy, he makes it look easy. Join us tomorrow night. We'll have the second game of this series. It'll be former Blue Jay Chris Carpenter at 8-1 going up against Ricky Romero at 6-3. The game starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time on Rogers Sportsnet. Last time Chris Carpenter pitched here at Rogers Center, he threw a 1-hitter and struck out 10. Ricky Romero will be up for the challenge tomorrow. 2 outs now. Matt Holliday homered his last time up, takes the first pitch strike.
And what is Brett Cecil thinking right now? You got first base open, but you look on deck and you got Albert Pujols. Holliday is 2 for 2, Pujols 0 for 2.
Just make good pitches.
Just make good pitches.
Don't worry about who's on deck. Just try to execute your pitches here to Holiday. Popped him up. Out of play. 0-2. Matt Holliday 2 for 2 tonight. Back in the third inning. He went deep.
Single to right field his first time up, and then goes down and gets this one and golfs it out to left field. Really no doubt about that as it lands in the seats. Home run number 11. RBI number 34.
Brett Cecil out in front, 0-2. Down and in with the changeup. Again, Brett Cecil showing his composure, just pitching around that leadoff double, trying to strand Randy Wynn.
And went right after the hitters, too. Didn't mess around. Didn't get scared out there and start walking people. Went right after them.
Left field line, that's going to be trouble. That is a fair ball. Randy Wynn comes in to score. Holliday headed for second base. The throw is cut off. Matt Holliday is a perfect 3 for 3. He's driven in 2 runs here this evening. Well, Matt Holliday and Albert Pujols hit back-to-back in the lineup. They are 2 dangerous hitters, but this depicts just how different hitters can hit.
Watch the high leg kick from Holliday on your left and how quiet and still Albert Pujols is on the right. You mentioned it with the high leg kick, how your average and your production can go up and down. Very high peaks and valleys, where Pujols is a very consistent batter, a lot like his swing, very consistent day in and day out.
Yeah, it doesn't go up and down an awful lot with Pujols. He just keeps everything quiet, doesn't lose contact with that front foot, where Matt Holliday is just the opposite. When his timing is right, as it is right now, he is hard to get out.
Very dangerous, very dangerous. That pitch that he hit was a fastball in the inner half, but he's seeing the ball so well, and the bat's coming through the zone so quickly. He's able to muscle that ball down the left field line for extra bases. 3 weeks ago, maybe he pops that up, maybe he takes it for strike 3, but right now he is in a groove.
21st intentional pass issued to Pujols, who will bring Ryan Ludwig to the plate. Ludwig has hit into a fielder's choice and struck out. Curveball down and in. Cardinals have taken a lead here. They've scored a run here in the 5th inning. A Matt Holliday 2-out double. Drives in Randy Wynn. Wynn led things off with the leadoff double down the left field line. Cardinals have made Cecil work here. He's thrown 81 pitches with 2 outs in the 5th. Change up in there for a strike.
Middle of this lineup is as good as anybody in baseball, I think, power-wise, production-wise. 37 home runs and 126 RBIs between these 3 hitters, Holliday, Pujols, and Ludwig.
Good fastball up and away for a strike. A ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Matt Holliday at second. He doubled and drove in the 3rd run of the game. Albert Pujols, the intentional pass, 21st intentional walk, was issued by Brett Cecil. Ryan Ludwig, a ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Line drive down the left field line. That will go off the glove of Fred Lewis. Matt Holliday comes around third. He'll score. Albert Pujols will stop at third. And the Cardinals have come up with 2 2-out runs here in the 5th. Tough to get through this part of the order unscathed.
A lot of production from the middle of the lineup by the St. Louis Cardinals, the batters that we just talked about. Ludwig with this ball. This is the third double of the inning, and it's just off the glove of Fred Lewis. He really closed quickly in left field. It looked like he had an excellent shot at catching that ball, but it goes right off of his glove. Second and third now, still 2 out.
Cheeto Gaston hands the phone to Bruce Walton. Going to get something going down in the bullpen behind Brett Cecil. 2 outs now. David Freese, the third baseman, takes a pitch down for a ball. Freese has struck out twice tonight. His average still over 300 for the season.
This is the Cardinals' third look at Brett Cecil now. They seem to be laying off that changeup now.
Ground ball pulled outside of third. Sean Kemp loosening up down in the bullpen. We have seen Kemp a little bit later in games of late. A ball and a strike to David Freese. Up and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 outs here in the fifth. Cardinals have scored 2 on 2-out doubles by Matt Holliday and Ryan Ludwig. 3 doubles in the inning. Pujols was walked intentionally. Change up back up the middle. That should score 2. Pujols comes in. Right behind him is Ryan Ludwig. And the Cardinals have scored 4 runs here, all with 2 outs in the fifth.
Boy, it looked like Brett Cecil was going to get out of it after the leadoff double. 2 outs and then 2 strikes on Holliday. And it's caved in now. Freese with the single. Stays back on that off-speed pitch. And again, the third time through the lineup, they seem to be weighing in late for that changeup, just sitting there waiting for it. Ludwig scores the 4th run of the inning.
All coming with 2 outs, and Bruce Walton out to talk to Brett Cecil. It's a 6-2 game now. 4 hits in the inning. Ball just going off the glove of Fred Lewis on the Ryan Ludwig double. And Nick Stavinoa, the DH, had a single to left in his last at bat. Swings at the first pitch and fouls it out of play. Cardinals have 8 hits now. 2 home runs and 3 doubles. They have hit Brett Cecil hard in the early going. Center field. Vernon Wells turns his back to the infield, but he's got plenty of room. Rights himself and makes the catch. But Brett Cecil gives up 4 runs here in the 5th inning. The Cardinals have taken a 6-2 lead. Statistical information provided by Stats Inc. Music provided by Universal Canada. Cardinals, scoring 4 runs with 2 outs in the 5th inning, have taken a 6-2 lead against the Blue Jays. It'll be Bautista, Overbay, and John Buck to face Jaime Garcia. The middle of that order is tough to get through.
Boy, I'm telling you, you think you're out of it, and then you've got to face those big right-handed hitters of the Cardinals, and if you make one mistake, they can hurt you and hurt you quick.
Jose Bautista jumped on a 3-0 pitch from Jaime Garcia in his first at bat, his first career 3-0 home run. It's only the second time in his career he's swung at a 3-0 pitch. It's the 12th 3-0 home run hit in the big leagues this year. It's underneath that one, and it's a mile high into shallow center field. Randy Wynn is there, and we have 1 out. Let's check in with Sam Cosentino.
Well, Buck, I've made my way up to the Joe Carter and Friends golf booth and sitting with Charles Barkley now. Charles, the guys were all over you about the golf swing. How is it these days?
Well, it's not very good, but I'm really close. I'm like Tiger now. I'm really close.
Really close. That's interesting because some of the video we're seeing, I don't know if they quite indicate that.
That's old video.
Oh, you've changed. Have you seen someone else other than Hank Haney?
No, Hank is going to. I'm with Hank no matter what, no matter how good or bad or ugly it is. But you know what? Clearly I'm struggling. But I got a feeling I'm going to come out of this soon.
Well, we wish you the best with that. Let's talk a little bit about how these communities intersect. Basketball players, baseball players. How is it that you came to know Joe Carter?
Well, first of all, I used to watch Joe Carter when I was a little kid. That's how it first started. You know what? I've known Joe. I'm the biggest sports fan in the world. I love all sports. I'm even watching the World Cup. I thought the only way I'd watch the World Cup is Halle Berry was out there naked. But I get up in the morning to watch the World Cup. But, I just love sports. And Joe asked me to come here. I think Toronto is probably one of the 10 best cities in the world. I've been here tons of time, but I just love coming here.
As Overbay grounds out to first for the second out of the inning. And one last question, Charles. Joe speaks so highly of you and your ability to give time. What is it about the charitable work that you enjoy so much?
Well, it's the people. Number one, I wanted to come to Toronto because, everybody has great charities. But I hate when they say my charity is important. They're all important. But when Joe offered me an opportunity to come to Toronto, and I want to reiterate, I think Toronto is a great city. I said, sure. I've got to come back up here in about 3 weeks and play in Wayne's tournament in Collingswood. So anytime I get a chance to come in this area, I jump on it.
Charles, we appreciate your time. Best of luck tomorrow. We're going to try and get some video and see how close you really are.
I'm really close.
Well, guys, he says he's right there. We'll get the video evidence tomorrow.
And that's great news, Sammy. It looks like he's getting close for sure. And I think that Joe Carter and Friends.com, you can check in with Joe Carter and see that whole list of celebrities that will be out to play in Joe's golf tournament tomorrow. And certainly great to have Charles Barkley in town. John Buck swings and misses, and Jaime Garcia has a very quick 5th inning. A 1-2-3 5th inning, and the Cardinals are out in front by 4. of this ball game. Lots of NHL news. The Hockey Hall of Fame class of 2010 has been announced. Taylor Hall featured. That's going to be the #1 pick in the NHL draft. Edmonton with that first pick this year. So lots of news from other sports, plus a lot of baseball action right after this ball game on Connected. Well, Brett Cecil's night has come to an abrupt end, and Sean Camp will come on to work the 6th inning.
31 games for Sean Camp. That is the second most out of the bullpen. Only Scott Downs has more games pitched in, but Camp has the most innings at 36-1 for the Blue Jays.
Sean Camp has done a great job and thrown a lot of first pitch strikes. He's retired the first batter better than anybody on his staff, and he's on here trying to slow this Cardinal lineup down a bit.
Cito has shown that he will use him in different situations. We were just talking last series that we're starting to see Sean Camp in the 7th and into the 8th inning. You got to ask yourself, well, why is he coming into the 6th? I think Cito Gaston wants to throw his hottest pitcher at the Cardinals and stop it right there and give his offense a chance to come back into this game.
Well, certainly the Blue Jays have proven time and time again this year they can overcome any deficit. Certainly plenty of time in this game to come back. Breaking ball just off the plate, 2-2. Yadi Molina is at one of the 2 Cardinal home runs here tonight. He homered in his first at bat back in the 2nd, his 3rd home run of the season. On the ground, Gonzalez at short takes the big hop. He's got plenty of time and retires Molina. Brett Cecil went 5 innings, gave up 8 hits. This pitching line is brought to you by MLB 10, the show, only on PlayStation.
Second shortest outing of the season for Brett Cecil. 5 innings, 8 hits, 6 runs, 1 walk. That was intentional to Pujols. Took him 90 pitches to get through that. There were times where he looked really good. Did not have a 1-2-3 inning. And he almost got out of that 5th inning with 2 outs, a runner at second base, but he had to go through that middle of the lineup, and it really cost him.
I think the Blue Jays oftentimes unfairly get compared to the young starting staff of Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay has more experience. They have another couple of years under their belt. Even though they might be younger than this pitching staff, they've got a little more experience.
Well, think about that. Matt Garza, 3 years in the big leagues.
James Shields.
Shields has been around for 4 or 5.
And David Price came up at the end of the 2008 season and pitched out of the bullpen. Randy Wynn lifts it to left field. Fred Lewis is over near the line and makes the grab. But I think a lot of times we forget how little experience his starting staff has, and there are going to be times when they have rough outings.
Jesse Litch really has pitched 1 year in the big leagues. He won 13 games a few years ago. Sean Markham, I guess, would be considered the veteran of that whole staff. Brandon Morrow, his first year really of, hey, you're the guy, you are my starter. Ricky Romero, just 1 year under his belt.
Morrow has 29 starts, not even a full season of experience.
That's right.
Brendan Ryan 0 for 2, popped up on that bunt attempt in the 5th. Another tapper on the ground. Gonzalez near the bag. Throws Ryan out at first. A quick inning for Sean Camp. He continues to baffle hitters. Blue Jays got some work to do. They trail by 4. Stone is one of our TD Tuesday, our Twitter Tuesday winners and friends, courtesy of TD Canada Trust. Beautiful night with the roof pushed back here at Rogers Center. Blue Jays trailing 4-2 against the St. Louis Cardinals. This will be the final interleague series at Rogers Center this year.
Looked like our gang was tweeting down in the Canada seats.
That's how you win the contest. Jared Hoffbauer in his second at bat popped up on the first pitch he saw back in the third inning. If you're just joining us, Jared Hoffbauer has just been recalled from the minor leagues. Starts his first game at third base. Got off to a great start in AAA, hitting .328 with 9 home runs and 43 driven in.
Got off to a great start in this game by making that nice play in the first inning to end the first inning off of Ryan Ludwig's bat. Popped out on the first pitch he saw.
Base hit up the middle. Jared Hoffbauer has his first American League hit.
Reliability, resale value, and race-proven innovation. Get it all with 0.9% financing on our most popular models right now during the Honda Checkered Flag event.
Leadoff base hit here in the 6th inning. Blue Jays trail 6-2. Fred Lewis, 1 for 2. Swings and a base hit up the middle. Hoffbauer will move up to second base. Back-to-back base hits to start the 6th.
Good start here in the 6th inning. Jaime Garcia, this is when he really gets tough. When he really starts to pitch a little bit tougher. We talked about it in the opening. Look at the runners in scoring position, 188. Runners in scoring position, 171.
Pretty interesting that a rookie pitcher like Garcia would be able to handle those situations, but he's surrounded by veterans all throughout this starting staff, including Adam Wainwright and Chris Carpenter.
That is a great point. Good pitchers to learn your craft from.
Aaron Hill, 0 for 2 so far tonight. Well, this is what the Blue Jays do. They get to a point where they get a couple on. They're the veterans, Wainwright, Carpenter, and Jeff Suppan. 3 of the 5 starting pitchers here in St. Louis. Suppan just picked up by the Cardinals, his second stint in St. Louis.
Brad Penny on the disabled list. That's another veteran that the Cardinals have in that starting rotation.
Outside corner. Yadier Molina quickly out from behind home plate. Went to talk to Garcia here. 2 balls and a strike. And your point about Garcia pitching so well with runners in scoring position probably has something to do with his catcher as well.
Yeah, it really helps him through. And you can see what he has done the first, second, and third time through. His overall batting average against is just around 200, 204, which is one of the best in all of baseball.
Aaron Hill, swing and pop up. That'll drift back into the seats.
And it's not just Jaime Garcia, who has had a great year, and Carpenter and Wainwright. You can throw that whole staff in there. They have the best rotation.
Isn't it funny how the Blue Jays have played all 3 of those top teams in interleague play, Cardinals, Giants, and Padres, and they have sickened, I'm sure, of watching tough National League pitchers. Hill pops another one back out of play.
I'm sure Philadelphia isn't too far behind that top 5, too.
Well, Adam Wainwright on the ride, he has started out his career. He went in the bullpen. He was a starter, came up through the Brave system, and he pitched so well for the Cardinals in the World Series year. Carpenter, of course, first-round pick of the Blue Jays, has blossomed into a Cy Young Award winner. 3-2. Bottom of the 6th inning. Aaron Hoffbauer with his first hit of the season for the Blue Jays. Fred Lewis has 2 hits tonight. He's at first. Nobody out for Aaron Hill. Full count. Jaime Garcia in a jam. Chopped on the ground. Garcia has to wait for it. Quick throw to first base in time to get Hill. Garcia showing an awful lot of poise and confidence. Runners move up 90 feet. Hill is retired.
Didn't panic at all. You didn't see it on his face. Young pitchers coming to the big leagues are so mature. They've been in tight situations before when they were kids growing up and then through the minor leagues. We have seen so many good young pitchers this year come up and not get frazzled.
Brian Butterfield, the third base coach, going over the scenario with Hoffbauer with David Freese right there at third base.
You know, we have talked about the great earned run average that Garcia has had this year and his ability to shut down teams when they get into scoring position.
Just foul down the first baseline.
I looked up some other numbers for Garcia, and he has not allowed an RBI to a number 3 or a 4-man all season long. You want to talk about a guy who really turns it up a notch against the supposed best players, the best hitters on other teams. Hasn't given up an RBI to a number 3 or 4 hitter all year long. Great opportunity right here for Adam Lynn to break that.
And before Lynn faces Garcia, Dave Duncan, the veteran pitching coach, will come out and talk to his young left-hander. Duncan is the master of game plans, and he is talking to Yadier Molina more than Garcia right here to implement a particular approach to try to finish off this Adam Lynn at bat. Vernon Wells on deck has a pair of hits in his 2 at-bats tonight. Blue Jays have a chance to get back in this ball game right here. They trail it by 4 against Jaime Garcia.
You're not going to get a whole lot of chances against a hot pitcher like this, so you have to take advantage of it. Figure out a way.
Ground ball will get you 1 at least. In the dirt and blocked by Molina. A ball on the strike. But that's got to be very settling for Jaime Garcia to have Dave Duncan come out and take all the onus off the pitcher. Duncan comes out and says, here's what I want you to do. So now Molina and Garcia, all they have to do is execute the plan. Another ball in the dirt.
We can sit up here. We can guess what he was saying to him. I bet you he didn't like that first pitch right in the wheelhouse of Adam Lynn. The next 2 pitches have been away, and it looks like he wants to make him reach for balls to get him out.
2 balls and a strike to Lynn. Ball away, took a little something off. Might have been that cut fastball. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bounced in the dirt. What a job by Molina. He turned that right shoulder into that ball and certainly took a beating, but he saved a run for Garcia.
He became a wall back there, just knocking it down and beating it into the ground using that chest protector to block that ball. This is picture perfect. Go to your knees, cover up, get the shoulders hunched over so if it hits you, it goes straight down into the dirt.
Breaking ball. Fair ball. Pujols grabs it and beats Lynn to the bag. Hoffbauer comes in to score. Pujols saves extra bases and retires Lynn. And the Blue Jays cut into the lead.
Yeah, and he also saved his pitcher because Garcia was caught napping on the mound. Breaking ball, this one is up, and Lynn almost comes up with a hit. A great play by Pujols to stab at it, and he's going to look for his pitcher, but he knows he's not there. Garcia got caught watching. Watch him on the mound. Anything to the right side, you got to get over there. And he is just happy his big first baseman was able to grab it and make the out.
The Blue Jays pick up a run. Garcia forgot his assignment, but the Gold Glover at first bailed him out. Vernon Wells swings at the first pitch and pops it out of play. Pujols won the Gold Glove in 2006. And right there he proved his value. Saved his pitcher. Got an out. Fred Lewis advances to third for Vernon Wells. Wells has 2 hits. Boy, Molina just smothers that ball. Anything that's close to the dirt, he goes to his knees and blocks the ball.
How confident that has got to make pitchers feel when you've got a catcher like that you know if you miss your spot, even if you bounce the ball, he's going to block it and save you a run. I have seen pitchers, when they get runners to third base, go away from one of their better pitches because they're afraid that they might bounce it and give up a run.
Well, changeup. Wells was out in front of a ball and 2 strikes. Again, Garcia showing how confident he is with runners in scoring position. Coming inside. Foul back. Molina is a 2-time Gold Glover. And won in 2008, 2009. It's reflected in his equipment. He got that gold patch in the middle of his chest protector. Emblematic of his Gold Glove award. And then on his glove as well. The gold label signifying his status as a Gold Glover. A ball and 2 strikes, 2 outs. Held on and foul chip back into the glove of Molina. Again, Garcia pitches out of a jam. He had 2 runners on, gives up the ground ball to first, but the Blue Jays cut into the lead. Back-to-back base hits started. Hoffbauer scores. Blue Jays trail by 3. A 6-3. It'll be the 3rd Blue Jays pitcher of the night, Jason Frazier, after a Sean Camp perfect 6th inning. Frazier comes out of the bullpen to work the 7th.
Jason Frazier seems to be rebounding after a rough start. This will be his 31st game. Last time we saw him 3 days ago against San Francisco, he struck out the side in his only inning of work. And you can see his numbers right there, 31 strikeouts, so averaging over a strikeout per inning. Frazier will probably just work the 7th.
Frazier was part of that great bullpen effort on Friday night against the Giants. He started it, struck out the side in the 7th. Downs had a 1-2-3-8, and Kevin Gregg a perfect 9th. Felipe Lopez bats left-handed for the first time tonight. He was 0 for 3 against Brett Cecil. Good running fastball at the knees. Lopez started with the Blue Jays in 1998. Came to the big leagues in 2001. Changeup hit on the ground. Hill at second base, and Lopez is retired. Okay, let's look at the Twitter question from Loretti29 asking me, Buck, do you think the Blue Jays will be buyers or sellers at the trade deadline? Of course, that's July 31st, and that's a little bit of ways yet. And I think Alex Anthopoulos has addressed this most recently, saying, you know what, it's just too soon to tell. Things change so dramatically from game to game, week to week. I think that they're going to evaluate where they are at that point. One thing I know for sure, and it's been said time and time again, they are not going to mortgage the future. They're not going to turn loose of any of this young pitching. Probably won't move any of their young catching prospects. They're just going to keep as many good prospects as possible. And I think they would add if they felt like they were in the hunt near the end of July.
If it doesn't cost much and if it works out, a lot of times.
Matt Holliday bounces the ball to shortstop near the bag. Gonzalez throws him out, and Holliday's retired for the first time this evening.
First time they got him, a single, a double, and a home run. Usually the guys you get at the end of trade deadlines are either towards the end of their contract, they're going to become a free agents, or the end of their career or whatever, and it just doesn't make any sense if you're the Blue Jays that you're going to go out there and try and give away some of your young talent for guys who might not be here 3 or 4 years from now.
I think the one thing Cito Gaston has said time and time again, that if he were to add anything, he'd probably look at the bullpen, just add depth to the bullpen. Albert Pujols 0 for 2. He was intentionally walked in the 5th inning. Came around to score as part of that 4-run 5th inning.
Intentional walk number 21. By far the most in baseball. 44 of them last year for Pujols, which is a record.
You see John Buck flash that last sign and threw up his hand and says, that's what you're going to throw? Mason Frazier said, you know what, I better stop.
Yeah, reload.
Okay, let's see if they can get on the same page. Still not getting on the same page. He didn't have it more than that. John Buck saying, what do you want to throw?
I'm running out of fingers. He does have a breaking ball, and I think that's what he wanted. There it is.
He throws the breaking ball for a strike. His fastball has been so good, and he's had such good command of it, and then he's had that put-away pitch, that split changeup he throws so effectively. Popped up. Playable. Foul territory. Overbay calls Buck off and makes the catch. Another good inning out of the bullpen. Jason Frazier comes on in the 7th and has a 1-2-3 7th inning. Blue Jay hitters have some ground to make up. Join us tomorrow for the Jays on Rogers Sportsnet. Cardinals at Blue Jays. It'll start at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, 4 p.m. Pacific Time. It'll be Ricky Romero up against Chris Carpenter. Chris Carpenter off to another fine start to his season. Kyle McClellan, a 26-year-old right-hander, comes out of the bullpen for the 30th time.
Went to spring training as a candidate for the 5th starter spot for the St. Louis Cardinals, but then after Jaime Garcia had a great spring, Cardinals kind of rethought things and said, wait a minute, we'd be really subtracting from our strong bullpen. McClellan has a very strong arm, a lot of strikeouts.
Gonzalez lifts it into shallow left field. Ryan out. Now Holiday comes in and makes the grab. Gonzalez is retired. Back here at Rogers Center. Cardinals lead at 6-3. Kyle McClellan on to pitch the 7th inning. Jaime Garcia went 6 innings, allowed 3 runs on 6 hits. Jose Bautista's 19th home run came in the 2nd inning. A 2-run shot to left. Right on the corner, evens the count at 1-1.
Makes a lot of sense. If you're going to subtract from your bullpen, you need a replacement. Cardinals are full of big, strong pitchers.
Long drive, left field, forget about it. Bautista deep to left, number 20.
12th time this year that the Blue Jays have had multiple home runs from one player in a game. Bautista crushes this off-speed pitch. No doubt about it. Great sound, great trajectory, great distance. Watch where it hits. Right off the 3rd deck. Bautista's last home run was in a multi-home run game.
Jose Bautista has just taken over the lead in the American League in home runs. His 20th, 2nd tonight. He just passed Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers. What a shot.
4th time this year that he has had multiple home run games. His last one coming against the Yankees back on the 4th. 20 home runs. How can a guy who's hit 20 home runs in the first half?
Drive to center field off the bat of Overbay. Wells, Randy Wynn recovers and makes the catch. 2 outs here.
How can a guy who's hit 20 home runs be off the All-Star team?
Yeah, he certainly has to get consideration. He went through an extended slump start to month, but now he has driven in 3 more tonight. He has 20 home runs and 49 RBI. Pretty impressive numbers. 6th career multi-home run game. 12th time a Jays hitter has had a multi-home run game this season. John Buck, 0 for 2. It's a 2-run game. Cardinals lead it 6-4. Oh, 2. Kyle McClellan out of the bullpen. Breaking ball. John Buck check. Peel down at first to Ted Barrett.
McClellan takes over for Jaime Garcia. Let's take a look at his numbers as his night is over. 6 innings, didn't walk anybody, just 4 strikeouts. Pitched out of trouble when he needed to.
John Buck strikes out. Ball held on to by Molina. McClellan comes in and gives up a long Jose Bautista home run. His 20th home run of the season, deep to left field. second home run of the night. It's a 2-run game.
Premium Lager.
Jason Frazier, for his second inning of relief, had a 1-2-3 seventh inning. Throws a ball to Brian Ludwig. Breaking ball hit on the ground. Jared Hoffbauer gets tested for a second time tonight. Makes a good throw to Overbay. 1 out here in the 8th. Hoffbauer making his first start. Just called up from Las Vegas. Edwin Encarnacion has been designated for assignment. And Hoffbauer will get an extended opportunity at third base.
Designated for assignment means that he will be exposed to waiver claims. So a team can pick him up. But with his salary, I don't think anybody's going to pick him up. Maybe he can get straight down in AAA.
Well, when you really think about it, he came kind of abruptly to the big leagues. They were hoping to move him from A-ball to AA when Travis Snyder hurt his wrist. And then they detoured Edwin Encarnacion to Toronto. Probably a little bit before they expected to bring him up. He had wrist surgery in the offseason. Because of that, he had shoulder problems when he threw. And he never really got to a point where he was 100% healthy.
Right. And he didn't have a spring training. So we'll see how that one works out.
David Freese, 0-2. Ball in the dirt, catches the umpire on the left arm.
One thing that has worked out so far here, the bullpen again is at their deal here. They're holding them down. Offense has scored the last 2 innings. It's now a 2-run game.
Well, Frazier, his second inning of work, he's retired 4 straight. Sean Kemp had a 1-2-3 6th inning. And George Poulos, the trainer for the Blue Jays, is coming out to check on the umpire. He got hit by that ball in the dirt that skipped over the shoulder of John Buck. Paul Nart, the home plate umpire.
Change up down. Ricochets right off the bicep. Ricocheted off his hand and hit his bicep.
Let's check in with Sam Cosentino.
Buck Tweeting Tuesdays continues. We have our Twitter trivia. Question of the game was, which Blue Jays player recorded the last out in the 1992 World Series? The answer to that question is Joe Carter. And our winner, congratulations, from Calgary, AG Law Office, at AG Law Office, our winner from Calgary, and congratulations. So Tweeting Tuesdays continues here tonight. The next edition of Tweeting Tuesdays, Tuesday, July 6th versus the Minnesota Twins. Game time starts at 7:07 p.m. For tickets, you can check out BlueJays.com, most Rogers Plus locations, or call 416-341-1234.
Joe Carter, of course, on the level of excellence here at Rogers Center. What was Joe Carter playing when he made that last out?
First base.
First base.
Yeah.
Mike Timlin flipped it to him, and the celebration was on. So we're all set to go now. A ball and 2 strikes on David Freese. That ball hit something, and he's going to be awarded first base. Sounded like it might have hit the helmet, but I thought it might have hit the bat as well.
Helmet has a very distinct sound, as does a bat. Let's take a look. This one gets away from Frazier, and it hits the helmet. It looked like the bill of the helmet.
Yeah, clearly it was a plastic sound as that ball hit Freese in the helmet. Everybody talking about the ball taking off. Yeah, ducked into it. Fortunately, he's okay. And now it looks like they're going to send a pinch hitter up here as Colby Rasmus comes out of the dugout, and he will bat for Nick Stavanoa, the designated hitter. So that was a very late decision as Freese got hit by a pitch, and Stavanoa was in the batter's box when he was called back to the bench, and Colby Rasmus will step in and come on as a pinch hitter.
What a season it has been for Colby Rasmus. You see the 13 home runs, 34 RBIs for Rasmus. He is pinch hitting.
He hit a 2-run home run on Monday and Tuesday versus Seattle. He has 13 for the season, but he has been mired in a slump of late. 0 for 17. This is his 5th pinch hitting at bat. 1 out here in the 8th. Blue Jays have cut the Cardinal lead to 2. Rasmus, like so many young players, hasn't fared well as a pinch hitter.
Well, it's an art form where you have to get out there and do it a few times before you feel comfortable. There are different approaches at the plate. Pinch hitting, hey, I'm going to take 3 hacks and take my chances, or I'm going to be very patient. I'm going to see the ball, have an idea. I think the best way is to go up there, the first pitch you see, let it go.
Late on a fastball, evens the count at 1-1. Well, you got a chance to be a pinch hitter a lot in your career as we look at double-barreled action in the Bull Jays pen. Jansen and Percy throwing. But for a more veteran player, I guess you could get a particular approach that worked as a pinch hitter.
Some of the best pinch hitters are guys who aren't thinking. They just go up there and just let it fly. Managers always put you in a good position. The matchups. It's a good matchup, I think, for Rasmus. He's a good fastball hitter, and Frazier's got a good one.
Rasmus played a full season last year for the first time. Hit .251 with 16 homers and 52 driven in. So he's just 3 home runs shy of his career high. 2-1. Cut on and missed.
Jason Frazier has that ability to turn his fastball over and try and get the ground ball. That fastball was running away from the batter. He'll also reach back with a 4-seam fastball and get it by you that way up in the strike zone. And then that very good split change that you were talking about last inning.
Fouled off. That's one of the better fastballs we've seen from Frazier, up to 94. He'd been pitching consistently at 92, 93. Had a little extra on that last heater.
There was some worry at the beginning of the year that he wasn't hitting 93 or 94. They made an adjustment with his pitching arm. Told him to get up just a little bit higher. They felt like he was pushing the ball. And ever since then, that fastball has returned.
In the dirt and blocked by Buck. Is that split changeup. Cito Gaston was quick to go to the bullpen tonight. Went to Sean Camp in the 6th. Now Frazier in his 2nd inning of work, and the Blue Jays have scratched their way back into this game. Difference in the game, a 4-run 5th inning. All 4 runs scoring with 2 outs. Long drive right field. Rasmus has just hit a 2-run home run. His 14th of the season. Cardinals lead back up to 4 runs.
Home runs have played a big part in this game for both teams. Tony La Russa recognizing that Colby Rasmus can hit a fastball. And that's exactly what he gets. Down and in. Gets it over the wall in right field into the bullpen. And the reaction from Jason Frazier said, I'd like to have that one back.
Only the second home run allowed by Frazier is a 2-run home run to expand the Cardinal lead. Colby Rasmus off the bench, his first pinch hit home run of the season. He hit 16 home runs a year ago in his rookie season.
The 7th pinch hit home run for the Cardinals this year.
Breaking ball up the middle. Gonzalez is there behind second to throw out Molina. Randy Wynn bats with 2 outs here in the 8th. Cardinals have hit 3 home runs in this game. Ball down and away. Yadi Molina hit his 3rd. Matt Holliday hit his 11th. And Colby Rasmus, as a pinch hitter, hit his 14th. Randy Wynn with a drive to center field. Vernon Wells on the run at the track. Off his glove, up against the wall. Bautista's there to back him up. And Randy Wynn has a 2-out double. Looked like Vernon Wells got to it and got a glove on it, running away from the infield. Bautista did a good job to back him up, but Randy Wynn has his 2nd double of the night.
Yeah, and he might have jammed his legs into that wall in deep right center field. That's why Vernon was down for a while. What an effort. This ball is smoked by Wynn to the gap in right center field. Wells going hard. He gives it an effort, the dive, and the lower half. Watch him go right into that wall hard with his left knee.
Randy Wynn with another 2-out double. Cardinals hit 3 doubles in the 5th inning, 2 coming with 2 outs. Randy Wynn led off the 5th with a double. Now has 4 doubles for the season. Number 9 hitter Brendan Ryan takes a first pitch strike. Cardinals taking advantage of the long ball here tonight. 4 of their 8 runs scoring on home runs. Breaking ball fought off and fouled down the right field line. Oh, 0-2. Fouled off the glove of John Buck. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here, top of the 8th inning. Cardinals have added 2 runs here this inning. On the ground, Hill is right there at second, and Ryan is retired. But the Cardinals add 2 more. David Freese was hit by a pitch. Colby Rasmus comes off the bench to pinch hit and goes deep. His 14th home run of the season. 8-4 Cardinals.
So too will Tweeting Tuesdays. The next Tweeting Tuesday, July 6th versus the Minnesota Twins. Game time at 7:07 p.m. Interact with the Blue Jays and Sportsnet broadcast team during the game. Great prizes to be won, as we have seen already here tonight. An opportunity to throw out the first pitch, autographed merchandise, T-shirts. Make sure you get your tickets by checking out BlueJays.com, most Rogers Plus locations, or by calling 416-341-1234. Our next Tweeting Tuesday, July 6th versus the Twins.
Back at Rogers Center as the Cardinals lead by 4. Colby Rasmus came on as the pinch hitter for the DH. Takes over defensively in center field. With that, the center fielder, Randy Wynn, moves from center to right. Jared Huffbauer singled his last time up. Makes the first pitch down and in. Paul Nart, the home plate umpire, has his wrist now taped up. He was hit by a ball in the dirt on the back of that left hand. Huffbauer, a shot to David Freese at third, knocks it down, rights himself, and throws out Huffbauer. Good defensive play by David Freese.
Yeah, and a staple of Tony La Russa teams, you better play good inner defense. Freese does that, making that play. Ryan's good at shortstop. Knock it down and make a good strong throw. His team's in Oakland with Walt Weiss at shortstop reminds you of things. I mean, his teams are put together very similar. Good starters, good bullpen, and good defense.
Well, Kyle McClellan turns the ball over to Tony La Russa with Fred Lewis batting. It'll be the veteran Trevor Miller coming out of the bullpen to face Fred Lewis with one out here in the 8th. Blue Jays down by 4. high above Toronto, and we have a beautiful evening here at Rogers Center. Trevor Miller, the left-hander, comes out of the bullpen with 1 out to face Fred Lewis. Cardinals protecting a 4-run lead here in the 8th.
Veteran left-hander into the ball game. Very tough on lefties. You can see how he bends down and throws 3/4. Tough to pick up for left-handers. Miller has been around, pitched for the Blue Jays, the Rays, Cardinals. They've got a very deep bullpen here.
And Tony La Russa always carries extra pitchers. He always likes to have the options of matchups, and he always is the master of matching up his pitchers in a good situation. Breaking ball line to right field, and Randy Wynn gets back in front of the warning track. Wynn just moved from center to right, made a good play. Tony La Russa in his 15th season here with the Cardinals, and he takes an awful lot of pride in putting his team together. He works very closely, of course, with Dave Duncan. They have been working together since the Chicago White Sox days. La Russa in his 32nd year as a manager. Aaron Hill takes the first pitch strike. Popped up. Rasmus into shallow center. And Hill is retired. Miller comes out of the bullpen to retire the 2 batters he faced. The Cardinals are 33-0 when leading after 8. King, home of the Whopper.
2-2 heading into the 5th inning. The Cardinals had scored a couple of runs, and then David Freese, who is hitting .317 with runners in scoring position, cashes in 2 more. It really blows that inning open. 4 runs for the Cardinals. That made it 6-2. Blue Jays fought back, and Cardinals have scored 2 more. It's now 8-4.
Visit BlueJays.com/Burger King to register for a chance to win prizes with the Burger King Superfan Contest. New pitcher in the ball game will be David Percy, the left-hander, and he'll face the leadoff batter Felipe Lopez. Jason Frazier went 2 innings. He was stuffed up for the 2-run home run by Colby Rasmus. Percy appearing in his 7th game. Up and away, 2 balls and no strikes to Felipe Lopez.
Six games this year for David Percy. Been pitching when the Blue Jays have been behind, and he's pitched very well. Opposition just 4 for 28 against him. I think, Buck, if he shows them that he is capable of pitching later in the game, and especially with the lead, when he shows Cito Gaston and Bruce Walton now with that good arm late in the game, 7th, 8th inning, I think that's a weapon.
Oh, no question about it. And I think they're trying to figure out what they have in David Percy. And you put him in these situations just to have him relaxed. Not a pressurized situation, club down by 4, just go out there and to continue to build up his confidence. I think it's a good opportunity for him just to prove that he's worthy of innings, and even more important, innings down the road. Lopez lays off the inside pitch. Full count.
He hasn't had any trouble against left-handers, which is always a good sign for a lefty reliever. He has given up just 1 hit to a left-hander this year.
Lopez, long drive left field. Fred Lewis watches it sail out of the ballpark. Felipe Lopez, the 4th Cardinal home run tonight, his 4th of the season. Cardinals have come in here and really hit the long ball. 4 home runs tonight. Felipe Lopez, number 4.
Giving the Blue Jays a taste of their own medicine with the long ball. Watch how quick his hands get to this ball. Down and in, and he just drops the barrel of the bat on the ball and lets that good arm of Percy do all the work. Turns on that one.
Matt Holliday's had a big night. Single home run double. 3 hits in 4 at bats. He's driven in 2. Home run number 11 for Matt Holliday.
Also look who David Percy's going to be facing too. I think this says a lot what Cito Gaston wants to do with his young left-hander. Let's see how you handle these big hitters.
Missed with the breaking ball outside. Matt Holliday, here are the numbers. He's a triple shy of the cycle. Fastball on the corner. Last cycle for the Cardinals was Mark Bretzelanek back in 2005. Then Holliday goes down, and he won't have a chance for that. Percy strikes out Holliday.
Not a way to come back. 93 miles an hour. Here it is. I'm going to challenge you. Going to reach back. Fastball right by a pretty good hitter.
You can see that Holliday had trouble with that inside pitch, a little bit elevated. He hadn't had trouble with much tonight. 1 out now for Albert Pujols. Pujols hitless in 3 trips. He struck out in the first. Shot right to Jared Hoffbauer. He retires Pujols. Pujols 0 for 4.
Looked very comfortable over at third base tonight. Made 3 nice stops. That ball by Pujols was hit hard. He handled it easily for the 2nd out.
Now the pitcher's spout is up now, and there'll be a pinch hitter. Aaron Miles will come off the bench. The switch hitter will bat right-handed against David Percy. First pitch strike. Miles in his 2nd stint with the Cardinals. Chases a pitch down and in. He was with the Cardinals for 3 seasons. Hit .317 for St. Louis in 2008. Was a member of their 2006 World Series championship team.
just called back up from the minor leagues at the beginning of this month. Well, you see he has only been in 8 games and 13 at-bats.
Percy strikes him out. David Percy strikes out 2 in the inning, but gives up a solo home run to Felipe Lopez. The Cardinals lead it by 5.
Get it all plus 0.9% financing and a $500 gas card on new Civics during the Honda Checkered Flag event.
Back at Rogers Center, Blue Jays set to bat in the bottom of the 9th. They'll be facing the 4th Cardinal pitcher of the night. The right-hander Mitchell Boggs comes out of the bullpen to work the 9th. The Cardinals lead it 9-4 here in the opener of this 3-game series.
First full year for Mitchell Boggs with the Cardinals. He pitched a little bit for them last year, got into 16 games. He started for them last year, made 9 starts for the Cardinals, but they figure he is more effective in the bullpen. A long man out of the bullpen, another one of those big, tall, hard-throwing right-handers that La Russa has.
It'll be 3, 4, and 5 in the Blue Jays lineup here in the 9th inning. We had mentioned the Cardinals 33-0. Leading after 8 innings. Broken bat, speared by David Freese at third base. What a play. Playing off the line, that ball was slicing away from him, and Mitchell Boggs gets a fine defensive play behind him from the third baseman.
What a game it's been for David Freese. He got that big 2-run single, which was our play of the game. We showed last inning. This one off the end of the bat by Adam Lind. Playing off the line. Good first step. You've got to have quickness for a corner infielder. Good quickness, good hands for Freese to get the first out.
Fastball up and in at 97 from Boggs. Vernon Wells had hits in his first 2 at-bats and struck out in the 6th. Another good fastball at 98.
With movement. Dude, that thing is just bearing in on the hands of those righties.
You can see why Boggs is more attractive as a reliever with that kind of movement and fastball. You mentioned the 9 starts a year ago for St. Louis. The team went 7-2 in those 9 starts. But boy, if he doesn't profile like a reliever, I've never seen one.
Throw it as hard as you can for as long as you can, especially towards the end of the game. Hard sinker, good slider. Cardinals are also good, very good, when leading after the 7th inning. Not just the 8th. Very deep bullpen.
They have won 45 consecutive games in which they have led after 7 innings. Tough team to come back against. Fouled back, 98 miles an hour. Have a good bullpen here. Blue Jays took the lead in the second. A 2-run home run by Jose Bautista. Cardinals tied it up in the third and then broke it open in the 5th when the Cardinals scored 4 2-out runs to take a 6-2 lead. Vernon Wells takes the walk. Alex Gonzalez is 0 for 3 tonight. Fastball fouled off. Cardinals have scored 9 runs on 11 hits tonight, and they've hit 4 home runs.
How many doubles have they hit also? They've had a lot of extra base hits tonight.
They've hit 4 doubles to go along with 4 home runs. 8 of their 11 hits have been for extra bases. Ouch. Fouled it right into his foot.
I bet you he gets a lot of those for right-handed batters with that good hard sinking action you see on his pitches. He pitched at the University of Georgia, was used mainly out of the bullpen when he was in college. He actually came up when Chris Carpenter was hurt last year. So we'll see tomorrow, and took his spot in the rotation when Carp was down.
Here's Chris Carpenter on the bench, having another fine season. Carpenter 8-1 for the season. Popped back behind home plate. Yadi Molina will watch it sail back into the seats. Last time Chris Carpenter pitched in this ballpark with St. Louis was 2005. Pitched a complete game 1-hitter and struck out 10. The only win the Cardinals had in that 3-game series. Off the end of the back, shortstop Ryan, second base for 1. Lopez back the first, double play. The Cardinals end up this game on a nifty double play. 6-4-3 double play. McCullough gets it. Matt Holliday with the big night at the plate. 3 for 5 with a home run and 2 RBIs. Cardinals win the opener 9-4. Stay tuned for Connected.